Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 3 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, January 22nd. So, looking back at yesterday's session, right? Nice impulsive move higher, uh, thanks to President Trump. And I'm attributing it to him because that's really when we started heading up. And you can see that just inflection points or low volume nodes right around 68.90, uh, around 69.27 for the NASDAQ. You just really have one around 25,400 and right around 25,000, you know, 520, let's call it. And then looking at, really where we went, uh, we got up on the in the Nasdaq, uh, right at where the Q's 520 is, and then kind of fell back off. And you can see on that impulse move up, right, that we had, we went right to where we had some previous excess at 25,654 in the Nasdaq, and right to this 49,486. We printed 482 in the Dow, just right at the top of that auction, and then back down. Again, looking at the Qs, got up to 520. So after that, kind of range between 515 and 520. For the SPY, we got up to a little over 688, then come back to 685 at the end of the day. And for the cash market, touched and went over 6,900, and then just went back to 6,975 into the close. So looking at, what's on deck, we already had this morning, we had unemployment, final GDP, all that come in basically in line. At 10 o'clock, we are going to have a little bit more news than normal. We're going to have core PCE, consumer confidence, some personal income and spending numbers, and then maybe the release of some October data. I don't know if anyone really gives a shit about that at this point in time, but it's going to be there. But natty gas has been moving. I know Jack was looking at it yesterday and maybe trading it, but you have their report's going to come out at 10:30 today, and then crude oil is going to come out at noon. Uh, so as we kind of scroll through the rest of it, we're going to have maybe Bank of Japan overnight. I don't think anyone really cares about that unless you're playing currencies. And then, tomorrow, uh, nothing really doing for the U.S. markets. We got a little bit at 9:45, a little bit at 10, but right around there, right around that initial bounce open, then we're done for the week. So keep in mind at 10 o'clock today, there is some news, more news flow than normal, and then 10:30 and noon for your natty gas and crude. Looking back at where we are. We broke that channel. We come back down. We traded and took out some untested points of control. We've come back down, and one of the patterns I like to look at is kind of like a 3-day pattern that I'll do this if I can. So we had the move down in this one, right? And then the following day, you have the move up. Uh, that doesn't have to take out the other one, but when the second or the third day of this pattern takes out the highs of those two previous, that's usually the signs of a true bottom that's going to go back up to the top of the range. So, you know, although I'm looking at a lot of technical indicators that show that, just looking at the charts, right, we should see some one would think, and maybe we will, but this channel, right, looked like this before, and that's not a good line. something like that. So you would expect when we get up to around this point here, right, that there would be resistance, overhead supply. We do have some points of control, untested points of control from a couple of sessions ago. So for us day traders, right around 69.86 to 60 to 7,010. Yeah, that should be your bogey lines for the day. That's still you know 30 to 50 points higher than we're trading right now. So keep that in mind. But this is a pretty strong pattern, and we've been in this pattern for a long time, right? This pattern's been building that we're in on both these indexes since December 1st, in my opinion. And we're coming over. And then, for all the Dow theorists out there, you get a low, uh, a higher low, now another higher low, and that exists in both of these indexes now. So, although today could be a pop and a flop, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Uh, I don't know if I'd want to be fighting the tape to the upside at this point in time. But for little markers that we can watch right now today, uh, I'm going to be watching the splits in the auction that are up above here where we have previous excess. So that's going to come in at 25,000. Let's call it 766 and 69.75. Uh, and then for the Dow, above or below this, uh, basically yesterday's high, 49,000. Let's just call it 500. And then as we look at positioning, there's really not a lot to hang your hat on as there hasn't been for a while with the cash market. You got the, roundies and 50s as normal, just going through there. But the SPY is what I'm looking at, right? So if we scroll down to the bottom of the sheet and look at all the sum of everything, um, 700 should be it's kind of your call wall for this tech, but you can see there's not a lot of build up there. It's not, like so much more than, anything else at that point in time. It's just where the largest positions are to the upside right now. And then 670 is still to the downside. And you can see it was trying to get down to 650 before. Uh, we're currently trading in the overnight session. We closed at 685 basically. We're right at 690 at this point in time. So, So as we, look back, what I really want to see is if, we can cross over this large gamma at 690 on the SPY, and then that's going to be really your bogey mark at this point in time. But you can see we're right at the 1 day expected move high for both of these. So this would be a nice area, right, for the bears to drop it. But what I want to see is if, on a pullback in the morning, if we can get down to value area high, which would be close to the settlement. But what I'd like to see is a settlement missed, right, and not actually traded. But the points of control did not move up for the ES yesterday. That's still all the way down at 68.52. So if we do get that pop and flop, I would look for an 80% rule and potentially for that to trade. Keep in mind that the low for the day is expected to be right around 68, 68, and that is below there. So, as you chase down here, I would only leave runners basically below 68, 70 towards that, value or low point of control. But we are one time framing higher again, which means this lower end, this value area low and yesterday's low, should technically be secure at this point in time after we had that shake and bake out the last, two sessions. This is the third session at this point in time. So what I'm thinking is we're getting into a little bit more of positive gamma. Keep in mind that VIX did just roll yesterday, so we can get a lot of quick movements that don't go anywhere that just end up getting retraced out as people take new positions in the VIX. So really keep your eye on this, but watch these excess areas before that we've had in the auction. Um, think of them as a crossing point until proven otherwise, and we'll see. But right now we're setting up for Superman up. The Bears need to turn it into diver down if we're gonna get that pop and flop today. But I'd like to see a retracement like I said, right around to value area high, kind of shake out some overnight traders. Think that we're going to take out this low and then see how that goes from there. But keep in mind again that we are sitting here on the Qs, right? 620 to 630 is probably where a fair playing field will be. So watch the large gamma, even if you're playing the ES on the Qs here, and then the SPY, the next major gammas are 695, 697 above us this morning. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day. We'll see what Jack's looking at next.